In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can add validations to your input without needing to add any JavaScript. So here we have 5 inputs. The first one says you can only add numbers or else it's going to go invalid. So as long as I add numbers, it's fine. But as soon as I add any letter, it starts throwing errors. The second one says only uppercase. So I can type any uppercase, but as soon as I type any lowercase, it throws error. All right. Now, even if I type a number, it will throw an error because it only takes uppercase letters. The second one is same. So it just takes lowercase. You can't really add any uppercase or any number. So this is the third one. The fourth one says you can't really add any number. You can add special characters or maybe alphabets. It's fine, but no numbers. So let's add characters. But if I add number, it throws error. Now you can check. I can also add special characters. It works fine. The fifth one is a hex code. Now, in case if your site needs a color code, now this is a cool way to check if this is a valid hex code. The way we do it is initially it starts off with a a hash sign, and then followed by six digits, 6 characters. Now the 6 characters are only, the alphabets are A to F, and then the numbers can be from 1 to 9. Now, if I type something like this, it throws an error because we have R and T. But if I add something like this, it works fine. But then anything more than 6 characters will throw error. So if I add 5, it will throw error. If I add any letter, it will still throw error. So yeah, we're going to be using regular expressions. We're going to learn how to add regular expressions in your HTML inputs and how you can trigger the invalid property in CSS as well, which is going to give us this cool little animation or the shake animation that we see. So yeah, without more delay, let's get started and let's learn to build this. So here I am in my index.html file, and then I have also my browser open. Now here I have some of the CSS. Basically I'm using style tag, and I've added some CSS here, and then also I've added the font family of Bricolage Grotesque that we're going to be using. Now the body is pretty empty, so we're going to start by adding some content within the body. So what we need is a form, and then the form would have a bunch of inputs. So I'm going to be pasting in some of the inputs. The first one is for the numbers only. The second one is for only uppercase. Third one is only lowercase. Fourth is no numbers. And then the fifth one is hexadecimal color code. Now, if I save it in the browser, it looks something like this. Since I already have the CSS, now we won't be going into the CSS, what we need to do and what not. But then I'm just going to be explaining you how do we trigger the invalid property. So whenever we type anything that's not valid, now the way we set the valid and not valid or invalid one is simply, so by default, if you have a type of number and if you try to add a text, the browser doesn't basically allow you to add any text. So here we're going to add some specific patterns, or basically some expressions, which is called as regex or regular expressions, that will allow this text input to behave in such a way that when the user adds anything that's not in the pattern, it's going to throw an invalid error. And this error we're going to catch in CSS, just like here. So here we have invalid input. If invalid, then we trigger this animation of error, change the color to red, and also the border color to red. Now here, if I type anything, it always throws an error. The reason for that is because we have the pattern and it's set as empty string, meaning that you can't really add anything here. Now, if you add anything, it's going to throw an error, regardless of whether it's a letter, character, special character, a number, whatever. So for the first one, we want only numbers. The way we add only numbers is we add a slash and we add a D, which means that it needs a digit. Now, if I were to save and if I type something, I can type only one number, but if I type more than that, it throws an error. So we need to be able to add more than one. So the way we do it is we just add a plus, which means that you can add as many numbers as you want. But then as soon as I add a text, or basically a letter, it throws an error. So this is the first one that only takes numbers and not a character. Not a letter. The second one is only uppercase letters. The way we only have uppercase letters and no numbers and also no special characters is by adding these square brackets, and within the square brackets we specify what kind of characters we need in the input. So we want anything from upper A to uppercase, from uppercase A to uppercase Z. So that's what we only need in the second input. Now when I save, when I add anything of lowercase, it throws an error. But if I were to type anything with uppercase, why is this throwing an error again? Yep, I know it. Because if I type anything more than one digit or one character, it throws error. So we need more than one. So we just add this plus at the end. Now you can type in as many uppercase characters, but as soon as you type lowercase, it throws error. The third one is for lowercase. It's going to be similar as the second one. The only difference would be we just have, instead of uppercase A, we have lowercase a and lowercase z. And then for the fourth one is we don't need any numbers. Now the fourth one can have character, uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't really matter. And it can also have special characters. So the way we only exclude a specific type of character is by using these brackets and using this symbol. Now, I don't really remember what this is called, but this upper arrow kind of icon, or symbol, right after this, we add the character that we don't really want the input to take in, which is numbers. So we just specify 0 to 9 and add asterisk, which means take anything that's given, but if any of the characters typed are a digit, number, just throw an error. So here it throws error, but if I type anything else, even if I type some characters, maybe uppercase stuff, it still works. So yeah, this is the fourth one. Now the fifth one is basically to check hex code for color. And the way we check it is it should always start with the hash character. So the way we target, or we tell the input to only take the first character as hash, is we use again this upper arrow character and then add hash, which means that start off with hash, and then we can have specific number of characters. So you can have 0 to 9, any digit. You can have uppercase A to uppercase F, any character. Since this is a hex code, so obviously we have 6 alphabets. And then you can also have the lowercase ones. So lowercase a to lowercase f. And that's it. But there's one more catch. Since the hex code only has a total of 6 characters, we also need to specify how many characters it should have. So the way we specify the number of characters is using curly brackets, and then within that you specify the number of characters you need for this input. That is 6. When you save, start with hash. Still throws error. The reason for that is because we have this S. Let's remove that. Now this is a valid hex code. Now anything more than 6 characters will throw an error. So yeah, this is what I wanted to teach you guys in this video. This is a pretty fun video, and yeah, I wanted to teach you guys about regular expressions. Now hopefully you guys will be able to add your own patterns and can add your own validations for your input without needing to add JavaScript. So yeah, that's it for this video. The source code will be in the description, so make sure to download that, play with it. Meet you guys in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care, and peace.